Hey everyone, Lauren here. So January 1st, 2020, I completely ruptured my left Achilles tendon. And I thought it'd be a good idea to sort of vlog this journey with this injury. One, because I've never injured myself this badly before. So I thought it would be a great way to sort of document and remember where I started and where the Lord is going to take me with this injury, because I truly believe He's going to heal me. Also, this injury is very common among athletes, specifically men between the ages of 30 and 50. It's not very common among women. And so in my research, I didn't really find very much help in terms of women with this injury. It was all men. And I thought that'd be a good idea to sort of document it for women who may experience this injury in the future, and they kind of want to see or get an idea of what to expect from a woman's perspective, because, you know, we have some different challenges. So yeah, those are the two reasons why I wanted to document. So let me just jump right into how it happened. So January 1st of this year, I'm on vacation with my family, and we all decided that we were going to go to Sky Zone. No, I did not hurt myself jumping. I know everyone assumes that, but that's not what happened. I was having a great time, jumping, flipping, dunking, you name it, I was doing it. And we were getting ready to leave, and then I saw one more challenge. Now, the adventurous side of me decided that I could not pass up this challenge. There was a wall ramp. It's like there's an obstacle course in this facility too. So it's not just, you know, the trampoline areas. There are different obstacle courses. And this particular obstacle course was a wall ramp. And the best way to describe it is, if you've ever seen American Ninja Warrior, it's in that, it's one of the obstacle courses on that show. The ramp starts like this, and then it goes into a vertical. Now, the objective is to sort of run up this ramp, then jump and pull yourself up. Yeah, I never jumped. I kept running. So running. And when my foot hit the vertical, it snaps all the way back. And then there goes the tendon. And I felt it as soon as I hit the wall. I didn't really know what happened, but it felt like someone punched me or kicked me in the back of my leg, and I dropped. And honestly, I thought I kicked myself, because there was no one next to me. So I'm like, okay, well, I must have just kind of like tripped on myself, like slipped somehow, I don't know. And I fell, and I looked around, you know, looked at my feet, and I was like, okay, well, I don't see any bruising. My other foot's not hurting, so I don't know what happened. I kind of limped over to a chair, and I thought maybe I had like a Charlie horse or, you know, a muscle sprain or something. So I started rubbing my calf, because the pain went from like right above my ankle to like my mid calf. That's where it was concentrated. And so just kind of like massaged where the pain was. Yeah, that wasn't helping at all. Eventually just started to swell, so I put some ice on it, and the pain just kept getting worse, and eventually started to feel like burning, like someone was taking a blowtorch to the bottom of my heel. Like, that's the kind of burning sensation that I was feeling. Now, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I still didn't realize that I had injured myself this severely. I didn't know it was a ruptured Achilles tendon. But I knew that it wasn't just a Charlie horse either. I figured maybe I sprained my ankle or something. So I ended up being carried out of the facility. I couldn't walk. And I kind of just limped around that day. Now, my flight home, back home to Chicago, was the next day. So I limped on my foot for over 24 hours. And when I woke up the next morning, it was really swollen. I was in a lot of pain. It still was burning. You know, my dad helped wrap my ankle to kind of compress it and keep it from moving too much. And I caught a flight home the January 2nd. So a little over 24 hours after I incurred the injury, I caught a flight home, and one of my friends met me at the airport, and we went straight to the ER. And when I got into the ER, the treating physician there confirmed, yep, you have a ruptured Achilles tendon. He performed, I forget the name of the test. I will drop a link for the name of the test in the description box. I want to say it's the Thompson Test, but I'll confirm that and drop a link. And the test, what you do is you kind of flip the patient over on their stomach, and you squeeze the back of their calf. And what happens is if your tendon is connected, well then your foot will kind of like jump. When you squeeze the calf, it'll jump. But if your tendon is torn, then it won't. It'll just kind of dangle. Well, my Achilles tendon was clearly torn because when the physician started squeezing my calf, nothing happened. And it was clear, you could see a gap, like you could see the hollow from the heel to like a little bit, I'm gonna say a few centimeters up from like the bottom of my heel to, you know, the other piece of the tendon. You could see it hollow. So yeah, it was clear that I had completely ruptured it. So at that point, they put me in a splint, a plaster splint. And so the objective there was to sort of keep, not to sort of, but to keep the pieces as close as possible. So they put my foot in a splint and I was plantar flexed in this splint, or in other words, like my toes are pointed downward in the way that a ballerina's toes would be. So your foot is normally like that. Well, they just kind of plantar flexed my foot as far as it could go. And I'm telling you, that was very painful because it was so fresh and the injury site was super, super tender. So imagine someone just putting all their weight and pressure pushing down on your foot in a cast. Yeah, that was horrible. But it was necessary. Don't ever let anyone cast you flat, because what that does is it further separates the tendon pieces. You want to make sure that they plantar flex you. So it encourages the separated pieces to get as close together as possible. So that's how they had me. As far as I could go, I was pointed, and they gave me crutches, and it encouraged me to see an orthopedic surgeon as soon as possible. And as soon as possible for me was the very next day. So of course I went and saw the orthopedic surgeon the very next day, and the surgeon confirmed that I in fact had a ruptured Achilles tendon. That first week, you really can't do anything. So I'm gonna do these weekly videos. We're gonna say for this first video, the week was the day that I was put in the first plaster cast. So that would be January 2nd. So January 2nd through the 9th, really can't do anything. You're supposed to be bedridden. You wanna keep your leg propped as high above your heart as possible. So, you know, just a couple of pillows, keep your foot propped up. Unfortunately, in my case, all of my family was still on vacation. So I did have to move around a little bit more than I was supposed to. I did have a friend that was helping me, you know, get groceries and would bring food, you know, from time to time. But I had to do a fair amount of moving. I had to drive myself to my appointment with my orthopedic surgeon the very next day. Yeah, so don't do that. If you can avoid it, you shouldn't. Get as much help as you possibly can. I know it's uncomfortable asking people for help or depending on people, because this injury literally snatches your independence. Well, not all of it, but a fair amount of it, and a fair amount of your mobility, and it's uncomfortable. And you know, it might make you feel a little bit weird relying on people, but it's for the best. It's necessary for your healing, so do that if you can. But yeah, you want to rest as much as possible, because you'll find that you're pretty tired, because you're holding your whole body weight on your crutches. Speaking of crutches, I want to show you guys. So these are the crutches that I was given in the emergency room. Now, the crutches did not come with this fancy cushion or pattern here. This is actually how it looks, so you can see it. It's just your standard, just kind of rubber, gray rubber. Very durable, but not super comfortable. Like, there's a tad bit of padding, but it's not comfortable at all. And after a couple of days, your hands are very sore, because it's the same type of material where your hands grip. So what I did is I went online on Amazon and I ordered these crutch covers. The brand is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, Crutcheze or Crutcheze. I'm not really sure how you say it. but it's a really good brand. What I really like about it is not only does it provide extra cushion for both the shoulder part and for your hands or underarms, your underarms part, and for your hands, but the material is antimicrobial, which is, you know, really wonderful, because you'll learn that you're gonna have to use your hands a lot more than you normally will. So you want to keep those bad boys as clean as possible. This injury is definitely not a friend to somebody that is a germaphobe. I am somebody. I am a germaphobe. And I found that it's not the safest thing to use the crutches to go up the stairs. What I've been doing is using my hands. So I'll just kind of sit down and scoop myself up if I'm going up. And then of course, scoop myself down if I'm going down. But that means that your hands are touching every disgusting surface. So what I did was, to aid myself in being okay with this, is I also got a little, I call it a crutch purse. You know, you can call it a crutch bag, a crutch pouch. But I also ordered this little crutch purse from Crutcheze or Crutcheze. And I'm able to store, you know, a lot of cool things in here. One of the things I like to store in here is my hand sanitizer, so that I can disinfect my hands from the floor or whatever surface that I have to touch. Yeah, it's really not easy being a germaphobe and having your leg messed up, but what can you do? So yeah, I'm trying to think. First week, what else? The crutches, showering is, or bathing is a whole different undertaking. So obviously you can't stand in the shower. I mean, you could try, but I would not recommend it, because you could lose your balance very easily on that slippery floor. And again, you're in a plaster splint or cast. Your toes are, again, your foot is plantar flexed, so you're pointed, which means that you really couldn't even rest your foot, not obviously not putting weight on it, but you couldn't even do that because it's so awkwardly positioned. It just wouldn't be a good idea. So what I normally do, or what I always do, is crutch myself into the bathroom, and then I sit on the edge of the tub and then lift myself backwards into the tub, and I have both of my feet hanging over the edge of the tub. And what I do to protect, there's a different approach that I use now that I'm further along in the process, but I'll get to that in later videos. But we're just talking about the first week. So for me, January 2nd through the 9th, I'm still in my splint, which is a plaster cast. And first there's cotton, then there's a plaster cast, and there's ace wrap, okay? So it's very much cloth based. You do not want it to get wet. If it gets wet, it would be very difficult for it to dry completely. You can get, you know, skin irritations and bacteria and all of that. You don't want that. So what I bought was a cast protector, or a cast cover, for when you're in the bathroom, or when you're taking a shower, I'm sorry. And this is what it looks like when you take it out. Just this big plastic bag, but it's elastic. It looks like it won't fit over your cast, but it will. It's elastic at the top. I'm trying to open it for you guys. Kind of stretchy at the top, but not so loose that it won't cover. So like once you get your foot all the way through, it'll fit snug around your calf. Now this worked maybe the first 2 times that I took a bath. And it worked only in the plaster cast, because the plaster cast, again, is smaller, and it's, you know, it's tight and close around your leg. So this worked the first couple of times, but honestly, I don't really recommend it unless you're a type of person that takes like a 5 or 10 minute bath and you're in and out. This cover, it was very wet. And what I mean by that is a lot of condensation built up on the inside of the bag. I mean, so much so that it was dripping. It was literally dripping. Like you could see the water and you could see it kind of rolling and dripping down in the bottom. And that's a no-no. When I would take it off, the perimeter of my plaster cast would be moist. I mean, literally moist to the touch. And that made me nervous. I mean, it wasn't so bad that I couldn't, just take a hand dryer and dry it up, make sure like everything was cool. But I just didn't like that. It made me nervous that it would get too wet and cause complications and kind of mess up my skin. I'm just like, it's not worth it. So like I said, unless you take short baths or showers, 5-10 minutes, that's not me. I take long ones. This will work for you if you're a 5 or 10 minute person. If you are not, do not buy this. What works even better is a good old garbage bag. Yep, you just stick your foot in this garbage bag and tie it around and then secure it. You want to secure it because if you splash around or, if you're in there too long, there's a risk that condensation could seep in through the cracks, but it won't if you, or it didn't for me, and I would take very long baths. It won't do that if you use this waterproof tape by Nexcare. Absolute waterproof tape for waterproof protection, flexes and stretches, cushion foam protection. So this is what I used, and I found that it worked great. It's stretchy, it's super sticky, but it does not hurt when you peel it off of your skin. Like, sometimes with Band-Aids, like you feel that pull and it's really uncomfortable. It's not like that at all, but it stays on very well, but it won't pull or tug your skin. Water won't get into it, and it won't rip the bag either. I highly recommend this brand, Nexcare Absolute Waterproof Tape. Way to go. So, no. Yeah, so what I do when I bathe, okay, so it's a whole process. I don't wash my hair every time I take a bath. But when I do wash my hair, the first thing I do is I scoop myself into the tub and I let my legs hang over the side of the tub. Both of them, the one with the cast and the one without. I let them both hang over the side of the tub. I draw bath water and, I should draw the bath water first and then I inch in. But the first straw I use to wash my hair. I thought about trying to do it in the sink, but I don't want to do that. I worry about losing my balance and falling. So I just find it best just to sit in the tub and lather my hair with the tub water, soap it all up, get it all clean. I rinse it with fresh water. So I'll just have a cup and I will run fresh water from the bathtub and just pour it all over my hair. And after I wash my hair, after I rinse my hair, then obviously I'm now sitting in the dirty hair water. So I'll drain that water, clean out the tub, and then I'll run a fresh bath to wash my body in. And after I'm done washing my body, I'll drain all of that water and then I'll rinse with fresh water. So I try to make sure that I stay as clean as possible, as you possibly can in the bath. Bath is not my preferred way to be clean. I prefer showers, but I'm not at the stage where I can stand. I'm still non-weight bearing. So this is the safest and cleanest way for me to do it. So I thought I'd share that with you guys and you ladies. It's a safe way. It works really well for me. Dressing. Now, when you first get your cast, dressing really isn't that much of a challenge. You can still fit your leggings over your cast, obviously skirts and dresses, whatever type of PJs you wear, shorts, pants, a nightgown, you can still fit all of that over your cast. It's not a challenge. We'll get into the challenges when you get into your air cast later. I'll share that information with you in a later video, but in the first week, your cast is small enough for all of your stretchy clothes and all of that. Tights won't fit. The solution to tights is to buy a couple of cheap pairs that you don't care about and just cut one of the legs off and pull that one over your cast, and then obviously keep the leg on the other one. That is absolutely what I did. All of my hosiery I did that with, and then of course tights, you can do that with tights, but a way to avoid ruining your nice winter tights is just to use leggings, because leggings already have, you know, holes in them. So you don't have to worry about cutting the whole leg off. You can just pull your plaster cast through the tights. Obviously, it takes a lot longer to get dressed. It takes a lot longer to shower. It takes a lot longer to do your hair. Everything takes longer, obviously, because your one whole side of your body is compensating for the fact that you can't use your leg. So you want to get up earlier. You want to compensate for the fact that you can't use your leg. I'm trying to think, what else happened in the first week? Oh, the first week, again, you're bedridden pretty much. So a lot of reading. I read my word a lot. I read articles and books. I got to catch up on some movies I liked and shows I liked, listened to some sermons. I got to sleep. That was heavenly. I got to sleep a lot. So if you are sleep deprived, you won't be after this injury. You get to rest a lot that first week. That was a blessing. It does get old fast, but enjoy the sleep while you can. Yeah, especially if you're a busy person. What else? I talked about crutches. I talked about the tape, cast covers, the plastic bag, washing hair. I think that's pretty much it in terms of what happened. Oh, people are going to ask you over and over and over again what happened. So be prepared to tell the story. Yeah, just be prepared to tell the story like 50 million times, because they will ask you. I think that's pretty much it. All right, so I will get back to you guys with what to expect in week 2, and we'll just keep going with this. All right, have a good night. Bye.